Okay, let's dive into this. When you hear the title AI Product Manager, what actually comes to mind? You're probably thinking of some supercoder, right? Machine learning guru? Well, we're about to bust one of the biggest myths about this job and get into what they really do. See, that's the thing. An AIPM's job isn't to be buried in code, building all the complex algorithms and neural networks. So, if they're not the ones building the models, what on earth are they doing? This is where their true value really shines. Here's a great way to think about it. The myth is that they build the engine, but the reality? They're designing the entire car. They aren't obsessed with the pistons and the spark plugs. They're focused on the whole system, what the car is for, where it's supposed to go, and how it actually helps the driver. This whole strategic focus, it really breaks down into four critical tasks. First up, and this is probably the most important one, they define the problem. Before a single line of code gets written, before any data is collected, the AI PM has to lay the groundwork, the foundation. And notice the emphasis here is on business terms. An AI PM isn't asking, how can we get to 95% accuracy? No. They're asking the really fundamental questions. Why are we even building this? What user pain are we trying to solve? What's the business goal here? This step makes sure the entire team is aimed at the right target from the very beginning. So, once the problem is perfectly defined, what's next? You can't just unleash a model into the world and hope for the best. The AIPM's second job is to design how the AI should actually behave. You can think of it as setting the rules of engagement. This is all about the user experience. So, for example, if you're building a customer service bot, the PM decides its personality. Should it be super formal? Should it be friendly? At what point should it give up and escalate to a human? They're designing the guardrails and the outcomes you want, focusing on how it feels to interact with the AI, not the technical nitty-gritty of the model itself. The problem is defined, the behavior is designed, and the data scientists have gone off and built a model. Now what? Well, now comes the reality check. The AI PM has to step in and act as the ultimate quality control inspector. This makes the AI PM the first and most important line of defense. They are responsible for looking at what the model actually spits out, its predictions, its recommendations, whatever, and asking, is this actually helpful? Is it just weird? Is it biased? Their job is to catch these failures before they ever get in front of a real user. And look, this isn't random. It's a systematic process. They review the predictions, they look for patterns in where it's going wrong, and then they escalate the really critical errors back to the engineering team. This is how you make sure the AI isn't just technically working, but that it's actually useful and safe. Here's the thing. An AI product is never really done. It's a living, breathing system. And that brings us to the fourth and final task, which is all about continuous improvement, making sure the AI gets smarter over time. This right here is the secret sauce. The AI PM works to create systems that capture what's happening out in the real world. Did a user click thumbs up on that recommendation? Did they have to correct the AI's answer? That real-world data is pure gold. It gets fed back into the system, creating this loop that lets the AI learn from its own successes and failures and just constantly evolve. Now, it's really easy to see these four tasks as just, a simple checklist. But the real genius of the role is understanding that they are not a one-time thing. They're a powerful, repeating cycle. And this shows you exactly how that works. You define the problem, you design the behavior, you evaluate what comes out, and then you build those feedback loops. But that feedback isn't the end of the story. It gives you new insights that help you go back and redefine the problem even more clearly, and the whole cycle starts again, just getting smarter and stronger with each rotation. This table just nails the fundamental difference in focus. The machine learning engineer is, as they should be, obsessed with the model. They're asking, how can I build this thing accurately? But the AI product manager, they're obsessed with the whole system, and they're constantly asking that bigger, more strategic question. Why are we building this at all? So ultimately, it all comes down to this one idea. The best AI PMs are the custodians of the problem. They own it, they understand it from every single angle, and they're the ones who steer the entire team towards actually solving it, making sure all that incredible power of AI is always pointed in the right direction. It really leaves you with a pretty big question for the future, doesn't it? As technology gets more and more powerful, maybe the most human, the most valuable skill of all won't be building the solution, but having the wisdom to define the right problem in the first place.